My name's Michael. For almost 3 years, I thought I had life figured out with Alice. She was unlike anyone I'd ever known, sharp, magnetic, always 3 steps ahead of everyone in the room. We met at a tech conference in Denver. I was there, working in network security. She was doing PR for a young, hungry startup. She was fire. I was calm, and somehow, that contrast worked. We weren't flawless, but we created something that looked and felt solid. We shared a decent apartment, held steady jobs, and filled our weekends with wine nights, dinner parties, road trips, and easy laughter over memes. To the outside world, we were the couple people pointed at and said, "They've got it together." But behind closed doors, there were cracks, subtle, easy to ignore if you wanted to, and I did. For far too long, Alice rarely spoke about her past. Every time her ex, Jonah, came up, her mood would shift. "He's irrelevant," she'd say with a dismissive wave, like brushing away a fly. Not worth the breath. I believed her. Maybe because I wanted to. Maybe because she made it easy to believe. But then there were late nights she'd come home smelling like hotel lobbies and too much perfume. "Work ran late," she'd say. And I nodded, pretending not to notice the inconsistencies. Because I didn't want to be the suspicious boyfriend. I didn't want to be that guy. We still went out with friends. Jason and Leah were our usual double-date crew. People even called us the power couple. Jason would toast to love and loyalty, and I'd smile, playing the role, convincing even myself. Why stir the waters when the boat seemed steady? Then one day, she suggested we take a trip. "We've been grinding too hard, Michael. Let's escape, just us." She picked Portugal. I booked the flights that night, thinking maybe, just maybe, this was the reset button we needed. Lisbon was a dream when we landed. The air smelled like roasted chestnuts and salt from the ocean. Music spilled from every cafe. Cobbled streets curved like something out of a fairy tale. Alice came alive, snapping photos, pulling me through winding alleys, dragging me onto trams, laughing like the weight had been lifted. And for a few days, it worked. We were light again. We ate grilled sardines by the sea, stayed up late with bottles of cheap red wine, and talked like we used to. Every time she smiled at me across the table, I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe my doubts were just stress talking. But that illusion didn't last. A few days in, we were sitting at a sun-drenched cafe near the waterfront when her phone buzzed. She looked down, typed a quick reply, and flipped the screen face down. "Work?" I asked, keeping my tone casual, sipping my espresso. "Yeah," she said. "Too quick, too light." Later that night, getting ready for a concert, she was standing in front of the mirror, half-dressed, texting with her screen angled away from me. "Who are you messaging now?" I asked. She gave a laugh, thin and practiced. "Michael, don't get weird. Just boring work talk." But all night, she kept sneaking glances at her phone, checking under the table, zoning out mid-conversation. I tried to shake it off. We were on vacation. I told myself to breathe. That night, lying in bed beside her, I watched as she fell asleep, phone still clutched in her hand like a lifeline. I didn't have proof, but I had a gut feeling, and it wouldn't let go. In the morning, she was up and dressed before I'd even blinked awake, brushing her hair with fake cheer. "I'm gonna check out that art district you hate," she said. "You sleep. You look exhausted. You sure you don't want company?" I asked, watching her carefully. She laughed, slung her bag over her shoulder, and kissed my forehead, like I was a sleepy child. "You'd be bored. I won't be long." As soon as the door clicked shut, I opened the location-sharing app we'd both agreed to install before the trip. "Safety first," she'd said. I checked the map. She wasn't headed toward any art district. She was moving toward the waterfront. It took me less than a minute to throw on clothes and head out. The tram ride dragged on forever, the old tracks, rattling like they were mocking me. When I got close, I ducked into a souvenir shop and checked again. Her pin had stopped at a small dockside cafe. I crossed the street slowly, staying low behind the crowds, and there she was, sitting outside, laughing, leaning in close to a man with sun-washed hair and a scuffed leather jacket. Her hand brushed his wrist like it had every right to be there. I recognized him instantly. Jonah, the ghost she'd buried, the irrelevant one. I stood frozen across the street, unable to move. They were wrapped in some private world, laughing about something I'd never be part of. I thought about walking over, slamming my coffee on their table, demanding answers. But I didn't. I backed into the shadows, pulled out my phone, and snapped a few quiet photos. When I got back to the hotel, Alice was already there, curled up on the bed, scrolling Instagram like nothing had happened. Good art? I asked, calm as stone. Beautiful, she said without looking up. You would have hated it. I smiled, and that was the moment I started planning my exit. That night, while she slept beside me, I sat in the dark, chest burning with everything I now knew. The next morning, my decision was clear. While she was in the shower, I unlocked her phone. We'd always known each other's codes built on that illusion of trust. It took less than a minute to find the messages, dozens of them, some recent, some months old. From Jonah, can't wait to see you again. I'll book your favorite place. This time's different. From her, I miss you. Counting the days. Michael's clueless. I forwarded everything to myself. Screenshots, dates, times. Then I deleted the entire thread from her phone. No need to let her know I knew, at least not yet. When she stepped out, wrapped in a towel, she caught me sitting with her phone still in my hand. You good? She asked with a bright smile. Yeah, I said, putting the phone down. Thinking we should do something fun today, she beamed. Finally, you're loosening up. I smiled back, but inside, I was already gone. While she chatted over breakfast, I booked a one-way flight home under the table. I called the hotel to shorten the stay. Family emergency. Everything felt dreamlike, but I stayed quiet. That night, while she drifted off beside me, I packed in silence. Passport, wallet, charger. Just what I needed. Before I left, I wrote a short note and placed it on her pillow. Alice, I know. I saw everything. Enjoy Lisbon. You won't hear from me again. Michaeli walked out and didn't look back. The flight to Chicago was quiet. I stared out the window the whole time, a strange calm settling over me. I blocked her number before the plane even took off. By the time I landed, my phone was buzzing with missed calls, texts from unknown numbers. I ignored them all. First thing I did, I drained our joint accounts, moved every cent into my private one. Then I called a locksmith and changed every lock on the apartment before I even unpacked. I boxed up her things, clothes, makeup, everything, and left them neatly outside the door. 2 days later, she showed up. I heard her keys jiggle, then the pounding when they didn't work. Michael, open the door. Her voice cracked. I didn't move, just sat in the dark, watching through the peephole. She saw the boxes, stood frozen, hands shaking. Then came the banging again, louder this time. I didn't respond. Eventually, she left. Next morning, Jason called. Dude, what the hell happened in Portugal? What did she tell you? I asked. She said you blew up at her, abandoned her. She's been crying to Leah, posting weird cryptic stuff online. I nearly laughed. Of course, I sent him the screenshots. The whole ugly truth. His reply came back quick. Jesus Christ. Word got around. Fast. Friends stopped responding to her texts. Some apologized to me, others just went quiet. I didn't care. I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. But Alice didn't stop. Cryptic quotes about betrayal. Texts from random numbers. Messages alternating between begging and rage. And then HR at work called. Just a heads up, my boss said. Someone sent in an anonymous complaint. We're not taking it seriously, but still. I didn't have to ask who. That was it. I was done playing defense. The next morning, I sat down with a lawyer and told him everything: her cheating, the harassment, the fake accusations. He nodded and got to work. That afternoon, Alice was served at her office a cease and desist. Crystal clear. Stop contacting me. Stop lying. Or face the consequences. 2 days of silence. Then one final message from an unknown number. You think you're so smart. You're pathetic. Hope you enjoy being alone. I blocked it. That was the end. I later heard she had a meltdown after being served. Tried to rewrite the story again, but no one was buying it. The truth had already done the work. Jonah didn't last. He kicked her out a few months later. She left the state soon after. Me. I started over, new apartment, fewer friends, but the real ones stayed. I hiked on weekends, rebuilt my old motorcycle, and learned to breathe again. Looking back, I don't regret anything, not even the silence. Leaving without a scene, without shouting, without revenge, that was the smartest thing I ever did. The best closure is peace. And I found mine the moment I stopped trying to fix what was never real.